Welcome everyone to today's webinar. We're going to be offering an overview of some GIS planning tools. We'll be taking Switzerland as a case study here. My name is Elisa Sklar. I'm the VP of Marketing at GIS Planning, and I'm delighted to be working today on this webinar with my colleague, Sarah Rooseskrim. Hello, Sarah, how are you?
Hi, Elisa, I'm well, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone.
Yes, it's wonderful to have everyone here. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy days. Just a couple of words before we get started about how we run our webinars. You'll notice that we are that you're muted. However, we very much welcome you to ask any questions. You can do that by putting that in the chats. There's a question and answer, but there's also the chat on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. So you can put that in there. We'll be taking those questions at the end. And the other thing I wanted to let you know is that we're recording today's session, and we will be following up with an email with a link to the video recording so you can review at your convenience, share it with colleagues, and of course, you'll have our contact information if you want to reach out with any questions to learn more about these things. So what we're going to be talking about are online GIS data tools that work to drive investment to your location and to engage potential investors, businesses, site selectors when they get to your investment promotion agency website. So when we're driving investment to your location, that basically talks about putting the data out there that investors need in order to make location decisions. And if you can move us over to the next screen, Sarah, part of what I do at GIS Planning is work individually with all our clients once they have these tools on their websites to help them understand how to get maximum value out of them. And when I do that, there's 3 questions that I'm usually asking them about their place marketing and location marketing. How are you driving prospective investors to your website? So what activities are you doing? That could be everything from online paid ads to social media to newsletters to email marketing campaigns, perhaps even direct mail, which is seeing a resurgence. What will they find when they come to your website? So a lot of effort is put into driving people to the website, but what is equally critical is making sure that when they get there, there is engaging, informative, robust data there to help them answer questions that they might have about location decisions. And then finally, I look with them at how they're tracking which companies visit your website. What is built into the website and the website tools to ensure that you know what the return is on all of the efforts made to drive people there and to engage them once they actually get there. Now, one of the things that we did last year was conduct a couple of global surveys, one with investment promotion professionals, and the second one with site selection professionals. Those can be developers, people in corporate real estate, investment experts looking at location, expansion, relocation, things like that. And we asked them prior to contacting an investment promotion agency, what are you doing for research and analysis? And as you can see from the results here, the far and away the most important thing they were doing was looking on the IPA websites themselves. They're looking to see what information is presented there. And this is a golden opportunity to get that information to them. You'll notice the next thing is the third-party data source. They're doing that research in other places. Things like publications and media, peers and colleagues, businesses in the region, information sent directly by an IPA, and even brokers come further down the line in terms of importance. So that IPA website is really critical. This is your chance to engage them when they actually get there because they're going to do that research. Now, the next thing we asked them, if you bring us over to the next slide, is when did you first contact investment promotion agencies for data? This is one of the things we asked investors. And it was really quite striking, if you hit click again, Sarah, is that the vast majority of the time, more than three quarters of the time, investment promotion professionals don't find out until well into the site selection process, if at all, that they're being considered for an investment project. And this is really an interesting point because a lot of times investment promotion professionals will assume that they'll have that opportunity to engage because they'll know what's going on. But very often they first come quietly to the website to do their research. And unless you're actively tracking, you might not know that they were actually there. So you can bring us over to the next slide here. And the takeaway here really, sorry, if you just go back, there you go, is that if you're not providing robust, interactive, up-to-date data on your website, you're really losing leads without even knowing you're in the running, which is, really quite unfortunate in a competitive global marketplace. We need to take advantage of every opportunity that we've got. And part of that is first making sure that the data is there when they get to your website. And then the last part would be actually tracking it. And so I think at this point, what I'll do, Sarah, is I'm going to pass this back over to you and then we can show the last couple of slides at the end with the question and answers.
Perfect. Thank you, Elisa. All right. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome again. Hopefully you can see my screen now. Elisa, can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, perfect. So you have just seen with Elisa that if you don't provide robust and interactive data on your website, you are losing leads without even knowing it. The GIS planning solution I will show you now provides you with the next generation of economic development and investment promotion website, and enables you to have that robust and interactive data on your website, which then leads you to attract leads and new clients to your location. So let's just go and explore together. So at GIS Planning, a service from the Financial Times, we have launched more than 700 investment promotion websites globally. One of them is the one that you see on the screen for Switzerland Global Enterprise, which is the investment promotion agency of Switzerland. Their GIS planning solution is an online data-driven mapping tool which helps them to promote their country as a business destination 24/7, but also helps them to inform about the business environment in each of its canton, district, municipality. So their GIS planning solution is integrated into their website. Just to show you how I landed here on their GIS planning solution, this is Switzerland Global Enterprise website, and their GIS planning solution is here under the Business Navigator section. This is where they chose to have it, and a GIS planning solution can be integrated anywhere on a website, can be a tab itself, a sub-tab, wherever you want. It's just a simple line of codes that we provide you with. So when you land here, you have a simple interface showing you that you can explore the data by region, by canton, by district, and by municipality. You can also analyze the whole of Switzerland as a country if you want to. And below that, you've got a section saying all you need to know for your next move. And here is the data that we're going to go and explore afterwards. So you've got community infographics, demographics, business data, talent, communities, and maps. The vast majority of site selectors, investing companies, as Elisa said, they go online before getting in touch with investment promotion agencies. So it is critical that the information that they are looking for is there on your website. So let's just go and dig into more details and straight to the business data, which is very important. So if I click on business data, I land on that map showing me Switzerland as a country. In the business section, what I can do is have a look at the clusters that exist in the whole of Switzerland, or I can change the geography, and I will show you that in a second, and see what's happening in a specific region of Switzerland. So let's say I'm interested in knowing more about the life sciences cluster, the size of the life sciences cluster in Switzerland. If I click on it, what the GIS planning solution does is that it shows you how big that life science cluster is. There's 21,000 plus businesses in the life science sector in the whole of Switzerland. And you see where it's concentrated in the whole country here. Each dot is a company, so you can see the name of the company, the street address, the industry they're in, etc. Now, this is for the whole of the country. If I wanted to know more about the life science cluster, but in a specific location in Switzerland, like Geneva, I can switch, and this time I will see the frontier of Geneva here, and I can go back to my life science cluster, and I will see what the life science cluster looks like in Geneva. So 1,415 businesses, and this is really to give an idea to site selectors from around the world, investing companies, but also students and people interested in Geneva, how big that cluster is. And again, you can see the companies that are there. If I was interested in another sector, whatever that is, ICT, retail, trade, it depends on the location focus. For example, automotive, which is completely different, is just to show you how the system works. The legend on the right-hand side will show you the breakdown of that. So we have life science in blue and automotive in orange. So you can see the proportion of each cluster within Geneva. In that section, you can go to business search. And if you had the name of a business in mind, a street address, or a specific industry, you can search by that if you want to. Let's say I want to know about companies that have the tech word in their names. I click apply filter, and this time I'm still in Geneva. And on the right-hand side, I can see with a system of color, each cluster and the number of businesses that have the tech word in their name per cluster. So agriculture, there's 5 of them. This is the green color on the map. In construction, 105 that have the tech word in it. It's the brown color. So you can see here, Technitois, for example, located here. You can go and see the street view. So for Switzerland, what's powerful here is that they can inform 24/7 the world about clusters in the whole of the country, but also they can share that directly as a team working for Switzerland through Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, email, and they will share that particular view with anyone that they want, whether it is a big group or a particular company, for example. So that's the business section of the GIS planning solution of Switzerland Global Enterprise. Now let's just dig into more details and go to the mapping section. So as I said before, this is an online data-driven mapping tool. So it's all about maps. Now I'm still for Switzerland here. I mean, I could go to any geography, but let's say this part is basically to promote whatever Switzerland wants to promote. As long as the data is available and it can be mapped out, they can have that in the mapping section. And it's the same for any location in the world. So for instance, here, if I go to local data, a simple drop-down list, and I want to know about traffic noise exposure, it is a very interesting things to see on the map. So the darker the color, if it's red, the more traffic noise you get in the day in those areas in Switzerland. That's one of the things that they wanted to share. But then you can go to a lot more details. If I want to know about education, where are the universities, international schools, cross-border universities, and so on, I can just click, and straight away on the map, you see exactly where those universities are. If I want to know about cross-border universities, I just remove that one, click here, and it will show me around Switzerland where they are located. If I want to commute from here to Switzerland, etc. So there's a lot of information here. And if I click on one of these icons, I can see the name of that university, the address, the website. So it's also a way for Switzerland or to showcase that. Now, again, I go back to my map layers and I can go to the geography. simple thing. If someone, an investor, is not really familiar with the location of Switzerland and just wants to understand how the country is divided by district or by major region, if I remove the district simply, and you can zoom in, understand that this is that region and the Zurich region and so on, you can dig into those details here. Again, map layers. If I want to know about innovation, everything about business angels, venture capital firms, corporate research centers, etc. Top startups, for example. I click on top startups, and on the map, I see where they are, who they are, their website, the address, etc. So it showcases the top startups here. And I can continue and go to the internet speed. If I am a tech company, I want my internet to work really well. So download speed, for example, of 100 megabytes. I click here, and you see on the map of Switzerland how it basically looks in terms of download speed. And I can continue like that for a little while and just go, for example, to the market prices for real estate. All of this information is the information that site selectors want to see. Market prices for rented accommodation. If I am a company and I'm going to invest in Switzerland, obviously I'm going to have to live somewhere. So here you can see on the legend on the right, this is the market prices for rented accommodation. This is in Swiss francs and per square meter. The darker the color, the higher the rented accommodation, basically the market price for the rented accommodation. So it helps me to also make my location decision based on that. And if I click on the map, I see exactly how much it is per square meter in that area of Switzerland. 6,300 here per square meter. Can go anywhere on the map and it will show me that. So really powerful data here. And I can continue with, for example, transportation, things about railroads, funicular, cable car, electric car charging station. I click on this. I mean, there's a lot of them here. I mean, let's just remove that. But this is in the whole of Switzerland. If I wanted to know that in Bern or Basel or Zurich, I mean, you can see exactly where they are. This one is in Hotel Marina Laken. That's the address, connection, one Tesla connector. It tells you the very details of what's happening on site. And it doesn't stop there. So if I want to know more about labor force, demographic data, financials, I can dig into more details, really helping people visiting that particular website to understand what Switzerland is about as a business environment. For example, if I want to know about company size within Switzerland, for example, medium-sized company, where they are, with a system of heat map, you're going to see here on the map, let's just load, that the medium-sized companies, this is where they are. So with the heat map, you understand where the bigger number is. So around Zurich, and then there's a bit less around that area here in orange, and so on. And you've got the numbers on the right-hand side, always helping you to understand what you see on the map. Financials, if I clear that and I go to financials, I can know more about income. So same thing, really helping me to make my decision with regards to site selection here. So this is the net income in million CHF, and the darker the color, the higher the net income in those areas. Same thing, I can, as a client, I can share that here through Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, email if I want to. So just to continue on that, I can also compare cities or municipalities within Switzerland. So let's just go to, let me just choose the Geneva we had before. and I want to compare Geneva to Zurich, for example. So in that section, I can type Zurich, compare, and the system will tell you exactly for which data you can compare both locations. So for instance, if I go back to the companies by size, so this is not a map, this one is just a chart, but again, visual data, interactive data to help people understand what's happening there. So medium-sized company, you can see that here for Geneva and Zurich. So they have quite a lot of micro companies here. All of that is downloadable, and you can share always on each page. There are other things, talent, which is very, very important to site selectors and investing companies. They want to know if they're going to be able to hire, you know, the future graduates, etc., moving on for their companies, for example. And here what you see is, so I'm still here in Geneva, so it's going to show me the universities that are located there, top institutions with the names, and the number of students per institution, and the top programs by number of students as well in Geneva: social sciences, engineering, health and welfare, etc. And if I want to see how many graduates there are per program, I can go, for example, to information and communication technologies, and I see the number of bachelor I've got, master level, doctorate, etc. It helps me with the numbers of talents that are out there and where it's located as well, of course. So this is for the whole of Switzerland, and each canton in Switzerland can have their own local version of that GIS planning solution on their website. Regions from around the world can also have their own GIS planning solution, and cities too. Now, something that is key to understand as well is that this is the version for Switzerland, but there's one component that can be added to a GIS planning solution, and it's the properties. So this is just an example of the South Yorkshire region in the UK. This is their GIS planning solution, so you can see that it looks completely different, and they have properties on their system. So for that, all the data that I showed you before in Switzerland is now linked to the property itself. So for instance, I'm interested in that particular office space in that region. I click on it, so I'm going to get details about pictures, how it looks like, is it for lease, is it for sale, how many square meters there are, etc., the contact details, and I can see on the right-hand side where it is located in that Sheffield city center here. Now, everything that I showed you before, labor force, for example, business, talent, etc., will be linked to that particular property now. So I've got the property here on the right-hand side on the map, the 10 miles radius. And if I want to know about managers, where are managers in that 10 miles radius, I can click here. And if I expand my map, same thing with the heat map, you will see where managers are kind of gathered in that particular radius. And it's the same for all the other data. So it can be really powerful when you add also the property search to your GIS planning solution. We've got different examples which you can explore on gisplanning.com. That's for South Yorkshire, but there's also for Murcia region in Spain and many others. Something to think about as well is the branding, the colors on your website. Everything is adapted to your brand guidelines. And so on our website here, you can see we've got different templates that you can choose from. So the look and feel will be according to your location brand guidelines and colors, etc. So that's something to bear in mind, and you can explore the different templates on our website here too. So that's pretty much an overview of how the GIS planning solution kind of work. I will basically let Elisa continue, and if you have any question, just let us know in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Maybe you could just bring the last slide up at this point, just because it has our contact information on it in case anyone wants to reach out.
Perfect. Can you see it? Yeah.
Yep, that's perfect.
There you go.
Great. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat on the right-hand side. I know it's worth repeating that obviously the data that we can find for any country is dependent on what data is available. So we work hard. We have a team that works hard to research information available for different countries. We have clients in many countries around the world. If you're coming from a place where we do not yet have client implemented, then we will look to see what's there so that we can provide the best possible data available for you for your website visitors. Do you want to just, since we have a couple of moments here, Sarah, could you just talk about how one might add the property application if they want to? Where do the properties come from in those applications?
Yes. So the property data, I mean, it depends on how you work with brokers, etc. But usually that's the data that needs to come from the client. And you can add that to your GIS planning solution through an interface, or we do that for you. But as long as you've got the information of where the property is located, somewhere in a database, somewhere in a file, and you can get that to us, we will be able to map that out for you and then put all the rest of the information around that particular property. So that's the only data that we need from you. The rest of the data, as Elisa says, we have a data team that's going to make the research about your location and basically will let you know exactly what data we have available for your particular location. You can have a GIS planning solution with or without property, or decide to have it without and then add it later on. It really depends on how you work with regards to that.
Yeah, that's a good point, that it is possible to customize according to your needs. We have clients, for example, in the US and Canada who are Esri subscribers. We can connect to your Esri server to add the additional data layers. That's not a problem. And if you have local data of your own, for example, we have some downtown districts or specific districts that they're trying to more kind of urban areas. They might have local data, for example, parking lots or bus or trolley or tram lines, train lines for commuters that they want to include because they're also trying to support local businesses. Just a couple of examples. We can add, we can add that local data. We'll tell you what format we need it in, and then it's not a problem to build those things in there. We have other clients that have, sponsored additional studies for data of their own, and then we can add that data into there as well if you're interested. I see, Sarah, that this brings us to the end of our webinar here. I just wanted to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy days. I don't know if you have any closing words, Sarah, you wanted to share?
Please just get in touch with us if you have any question about your location data, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Always a pleasure co-presenting with you, Sarah. Thank you all for taking time to join us. Goodbye.
Thank you.